Imagine sitting at a table crowded with people who all want your attention, your money, your trust, but ironically, none of them see you. None truly get who you are or what your fire feels like. It's exhausting. The noise, the chaos, the endless stream of calls, emails, pitches, it never ends. You've got the capital, you've got the vision, but beyond the surface level relationships, something feels hollow. You're part of many funds, countless meetings, but where's the real connection? Where's the partnership that slices through all the noise and speaks directly to the core of what you want to build, what you want to unleash? This is the invisible weight carried by limited partners who have seen it all, yet still crave a space that doesn't drain them. A circle small enough that they're heard, but powerful enough to move mountains. And that's why the most elite funds, the kind that don't just play the game, but change its rules, build their foundation around only a few limited partners, because quality always beats quantity. Deep connection beats surface level interest. Real power comes from fewer, sharper alliances, not crowds of shallow ties. Here's the brutal truth that almost no one tells you. When a fund has too many limited partners, it becomes a circus. Democracy in fundraising sounds great in theory, but in practice, it turns decision-making into a slow, bloated mess. Everyone has opinions, everyone wants control, or worse, everyone wants to stay comfortable and safe. Progress, innovation, they die in meetings where too many voices drown out the vision. If you're stuck as just one limited partner out of 100, your influence doesn't exist. You're just a number, a line in a spreadsheet, managing expectations rather than changing reality. That's not what top-tier limited partners signed up for. Not you. You're not here to be a passive bystander. You're here because you want to be a part of something meaningful, something alive. You want to feel the pulse of the fund, the fire of the founders, the heartbeat of innovation, and you want to help shape it. But if you're sitting in a crowd, diluted, overwhelmed by too many mouths to feed, your ability to move, to shift, to bend the future breaks down. The fund becomes a machine built on consensus, careful steps, and safe bets. It stops chasing greatness and starts chasing comfort. Contrast that with a fund built around a handful of limited partners, just a few people who share an unquenchable hunger for something different. A group where every voice counts, every opinion is weighed, and every connection is personal. Here, your capital isn't just money thrown into a black hole, it's fuel. Your thoughts aren't ignored, they're sought after. You're not a seat warmer, you're a co-creator. Most importantly, this kind of fund exists because the limited partners themselves are different. They don't settle for the usual. They don't subscribe to the systems designed for mediocrity. These limited partners know that to build what's next, to smash the status quo, they must first break their own chains, the chains of complacency, the chains of superficial involvement, the chains of diluted influence. They're not interested in being shiny name tags on glossy reports. They want to be engaged, ruthlessly engaged. Because true change requires tension. It needs friction. And you don't get that with a crowd of hundreds nodding politely. You get that with a few who are willing to challenge, to question, and to dive deep into the raw, uncomfortable, transformative work. And that's where the power lies. When there are only a handful of limited partners, something rare happens. Trust is real. Not the kind of trust you write about in board meetings, but the kind that's forged late at night in vulnerable conversations. This trust means you can speak your truth without fear of rejection or dilution. You can push founders harder, ask the uncomfortable questions, and demand transparency. You become more than an investor. You become a partner in the truest sense. Imagine being part of that, feeling the electric buzz of real collaboration, the sense that you're not just investing capital, but your very will, your very soul into a mission bigger than any spreadsheet. You see the untapped potential before anyone else does. You move with clarity, decisiveness, and confidence. You're not stuck in endless cycles of reporting and approval. You're driving the narrative, the vision, the impact. This is how elite funds stay elite. Not because they manage more money or have the flashiest offices, but because they have less noise, less clutter, and more focus. They have limited partners who are not just checks on paper, but who burn with a shared purpose. A purpose that rejects comfort and conformity, that demands transformation and relentless progress. Here's another angle you need to see. When you're one of the few, this exclusivity means the fund attracts founders who are not just looking for money, but for commitment. Founders ready to tear down the existing world, who won't settle for the usual, who crave partners that challenge and inspire. You become part of a circle where every investment is a call to arms, to build, to break, to invent what's next. Too many limited partners create a mass market of compromise. Too many cooks spoil the broth. But when the circle is tight, every member doubles down. Every founder thrives from that concentrated heat. And the results? They're extraordinary. They blow past expectations, disrupt markets, and redefine entire industries. If you felt the frustration of being a small voice lost in a big fund, or the drain of endless, shallow partnerships that don't move you forward, understand this: it doesn't have to be that way. You have the power to demand more from yourself, from your partnerships, and from the funds you back. The moment you commit to being one of the few, something changes inside you. You start seeing your investments not as distant financial transactions, but as sparks in a fire you're building. You start valuing depth over breadth, quality over quantity, synergy over noise, and that mindset change, oh, it's everything. Because when you truly understand the value of being part of a tight-knit group that moves fast and hits hard, you become a force of nature. You unlock access to exclusive deals, visionary founders, and insider knowledge that never reaches the masses. You're not waiting for permission or validation. You're creating the permission, defining the rules. Let's be honest, this is not for everyone. Not everyone can handle being in such an intense, demanding group. It requires patience, bravery, and a willingness to be uncomfortable. But if you're listening right now, if your heart is racing, if you feel that quiet, fierce hunger inside, you know you're ready. Because the alternative? Staying stuck in the mass market funds that play it safe. Funds that keep you small, invisible, and exhausted. That's slavery masquerading as freedom, a prison of comfort that slowly kills your fire. You deserve better. The funds built around a few limited partners give you that better. They hand you the keys to a kingdom where your influence isn't diluted, but amplified. Where your will isn't resisted, but welcomed. Where transformation is the daily currency and becoming more is the only acceptable goal. So stop settling for the crowd. Stop being a background player in someone else's story. Step into the rare few who are rewriting the rules, who refuse the noise, who know that real power is personal, deliberate, and fierce. The most elite funds don't just want your money. They want your presence, your voice, your fire. And when you bring all that together, you become unstoppable. This is your chance to be part of something rare, something real, something revolutionary. Don't let it slip away.